Hey Fatheads, Surgeon here with another Cigar Federation review. Today we're going to be reviewing the Tortuga 215 Reserva Connecticut. Now, if you followed our RPCPR coverage, you know this is one of the cigars that really stood out for us on the floor. Rob, myself, and Jared all had a chance to smoke this on the floor, which we didn't have a chance to smoke a lot of cigars, so it didn't just stand out because it was one of the few cigars we smoked, but this was a phenomenal Connecticut. All three of us really enjoyed it, and this is one of the cigars I've been looking forward to after the show to sit down and really give it its proper due. So it does have a Connecticut wrapper. It's got a Nicaraguan binder and filler. Today I'm smoking the Suave size, which is a 5-inch by 52. Now, you'll notice the green footband. That's sort of one of the ways in the Tortuga line that you tell what type of cigar it is. Now, you'll also notice it's got a cedar sleeve on it. So before we get to nosing this, we're going to have to take the green footband and the cedar sleeve off of this. So now with the cedar sleeve and the footband off, give this a nose. I mean, this is just barnyard and hay for days with some sweet manure. All I'm really getting out of the foot is a little bit of fermented tobacco. So we're going to toast this up, check it out, using my traditional method of toasting the cigar first and cutting it. This is what I've become used to. Making sure not to scorch the wrapper. A little bit windy today. Take my trusty V-cutter, make a nice sideways V-cut. And the draw is exactly where I want it to be. Lots of that sweetness that you expect out of Connecticut. Little bit of hay, a little bit of cedar, but almost overwhelmingly sweet. So we'll see how the first third settles in and come back and check in. Sitting at about just under the 10-minute mark. There's some creamy cocoa that's come through to sort of round out the initial first third. Very balanced, very traditional Connecticut so far, with a little bit of pepper chaser to it. Now, you know, a lot of people will not enjoy classic Connecticut's, but I think, you know, based on our experience at the IPCPR, this is a Connecticut that's classic, but builds in those classic flavors. So as I progress, I'll keep checking in, come back with whatever additional flavors are coming through. But as you can see, I'm only about a ½ inch right now to the first third, so there's a lot to go. Sitting at the 15-minute mark, you can see that the cigar is burning very, very cleanly, holding the ash really well. This is what we experienced at the IPCPR as well. I think we had about 2 inches of ash before we ended up knocking it off, just because we didn't want to get on our clothes. But just a really elegant Connecticut, very, very balanced. Just sweet cocoa, balanced with a little bit of pepper chaser. Really enjoyable. Obviously, like most Connecticut's, this is a no-brainer pairing with coffee or espresso. But I think this would also be good with rum, mojito, something like a classic rum cocktail that's not overly sweet, because I think if it was overly sweet, it'd run over a lot of the nuances of this cigar. But enjoying it so far, and keep checking in and seeing how the first third progresses. Just at the 20-minute mark, new note to report on. There's a sweet vegetal, pretty much clover coming through. Very, very light. You know, it's like a light minus, but it's there. You can taste it. Adds to complexity here. The pepper is still a light plus, and it's lingering at this point, so you get kind of a pepper at the back of your throat. And again, all I think it does is just round out the profile here and add a little bit more complexity than just being a straightforward Connecticut. Coming up on the 40-minute mark, just starting to get into the middle third. Cocoa has become a little bit more dominant at the end of the first third, so it's really, really enjoyable. Not a lot else to report on the flavor profile, just the first third was, really good. Classic Connecticut, but with, again, some extra complexity, which adds a little bit of nuance to it, so it's not just your standard Connecticut. We'll pour back in the middle third and see what else develops as we progress on. At the 55-minute mark, into the middle third now, you see I've taken the band off. Haze started to come into the profile in the middle third, so it's kind of offsetting the cocoa now, and the cedar's returned, but really at the post draw, so you're really not getting into the cedar until after the draw is complete, and then cedar tends to linger between the draws. That's all I have to report right now, but keep smoking and keep checking in. Hitting the 1 hour mark now. Again, just burning really cleanly, very enjoyable. Definitely not a standard Connecticut. I mean, you see a Connecticut shade wrapper, you think is going to be really light and boring. This is definitely a medium-bodied, medium-strength cigar, and I can definitely feel it with that Nicaraguan filler. It's got a little bit of punch to it, but it doesn't have that super full-bodied pepper that you associate with Nicaraguan tobacco. It's just got enough of a pepper to give you a little bit of zip on every draw, but then it's got that Connecticut shade sweetness that really rounds out the flavor profile. So, really enjoyable medium third, middle third. Obviously, I really enjoyed the first third. So I'm going to keep smoking, see if any other flavors pop up in the middle third, and check back in, see how we're doing. About the 1 hour 10 mark. Cedar's starting to linger again between the draws, but it's, again, not overpowering. There's really no profile here, no flavor that's overpowering the rest. They're all very balanced, all kind of waxing and waning, playing off of each other. But again, there's this great just slight amount of pepper at the back of your throat that just adds that complexity. So I'm really enjoying this Tortuga 215, very enjoyable. I'm not sure if any other flavors are going to come to the surface before the middle third's done. You can see I'm almost in the last third here, but I'll check back in, keep reporting as we go. Hitting the last third now. There's some nuttiness coming through. It's like a toasted nuttiness. Still that cedar. Again, it kind of waxes and wanes in terms of how strong it is on the post tail. It's not overwhelming the rest of the flavor profile at all. I might be smoking this a little bit faster than I should be. Normally in a Robusto, it's about an hour 30, an hour 45. But it does look like it's going to wrap up around the an hour 30 mark. I feel like you could nurse this, maybe get a little bit more out of the profile at an hour 40. And that's where I think a coffee would come in handy to really take your time with this cigar. Really appreciate the nuances that are there. All right, Fitheads, wrapping up my review of the Tortuga 215 Connecticut. Been a very enjoyable smoke. I'm not sure whether this is a box split or a 5-pack. It's going to be really close. But again, very enjoyable Connecticut. Appreciate everyone tuning into the review. Appreciate it if you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Cigar Federation. And make sure to check out the written review at CigarFederation.com.